In delivering my son from me, I bury a second husband.
And I, in going, madam, weep o'er my father's death anew. But I must attend his majesty's command, to whom I am now in ward, evermore in subjection.
You shall find of the king a husband, madam. You, sir, a father.
What hope is there of his majesty's amendment?
He hath abandoned his physicians, madam, under whose practices he hath persecuted time with hope, and finds no other advantage in the process, but only losing of hope by time.
This young gentlewoman had a father. Oh, that had, how sad a passage 'tis, whose skill was almost as great as his honesty. Had it stretched so far, would have made nature immortal, and death should have play for lack of work. Would, for the king's sake, he were living. I think it would be the death of the king's disease.
Well, how called you the man you speak of, madam?
He was famous, sir, in his profession, and it was his great right to be so. Gerard de Narbonne.
He was excellent indeed, madam. The king very lately spoke of him admiringly and mourningly. Was this gentlewoman the daughter of Gerard de Narbonne?
His sole child, my lord, and bequeathed to my overlooking. I have those hopes of her good that her education promises. Her disposition she inherits, which makes fair gifts fairer. She derives her honesty and achieves her goodness.
Your commendations, madam, get from her tears.
Is the best brine a maiden can season her praise in. The remembrance of her father never approaches her heart, but the tyranny of her sorrows takes all livelihood from her cheek. No more of this, Helena. Go to, no more, lest it be rather thought you affect a sorrow than have it.
I do affect a sorrow indeed, but I have it too.
Madam, I desire your holy wishes.
Be thou blessed, Bertram, and succeed thy father, in manners as in shape. Thy blood and virtue contend for empire in thee, and thy goodness share with thy birthright. Love all, trust few, do wrong to none. Be able for thine enemy, rather in power than in use, and keep thy friend under thine own life's key. Be checked for silence, but never taxed for speech. What heaven more will that thee may furnish and my prayers pluck down, fall on thy head. Farewell, my lord.
The best wishes that can be forged in your thoughts be servants to you. Be comfortable to my mother, your mistress, and make much of her.
Oh, were that all? I think not on my father, and these great tears grace his remembrance more than those I shed for him. What was he like? I have forgot him. My imagination carries no favor in it but Bertram's. I am undone. There is no living, none, if Bertram be away. 'Twere all one that I should love a bright particular star and think to wed it. He is so above me. Well, but now he's gone, and my idolatrous fancy must sanctify his relics. Oh, who comes here? It's one that goes with him. I love him for his sake, and yet I know him a notorious liar. Think him a great way a fool and solely a coward.
Save you, fair queen.
And you, monarch?
No.
And no.
Are you meditating on virginity?
Aye. You have some stain of soldier in you. Let me ask you a question. Man is enemy to virginity. How may we barricado it against him?
Keep him out.
But he assails, and our virginity, though valiant in the defense, yet is weak. Unfold to us some warlike resistance.
There is none. Man, sitting down before you, will undermine you and blow you up.
Oh, bless our poor virginity from underminers and blowers up.
It is not politic in the commonwealth of nature to preserve virginity. Loss of virginity is rational increase, and there was never virgin got till virginity was first lost. That you were made of is metal to make virgins. Virginity, by being once lost, may be 10 times found. By being ever kept, it's ever lost. It's too cold a companion. Away with it!
I'll stand for it a little, though therefore I die a virgin.
To speak on the part of virginity is to accuse your mothers, which is most infallible disobedience. Besides, Virginity is peevish, proud, idle, made of self-love, which is the most inhibited sin in the canon. Keep it not. Within 10 years, it'll make itself 10, which is a goodly increase, and the principle itself, not much the worse.
How might one do, sir, to lose it to her own liking?
Let me see. Married is a commodity will lose the gloss with lying. The longer kept, the less worth. Off with it while 'tis vendible. Your data is better in your pie and your porridge than your cheek. And your virginity, your old virginity, is like one of our French withered pears. It looks ill, it eats dryly. Mary, 'tis a withered pear. It was formerly better. It is a withered pear. Oh, will you anything with it?
Monsieur Parolles,
Hmm?
my lord calls for you.
Little Helen, farewell. If I can remember thee, I'll think of thee at court.
Oh, Monsieur Parolles, you were born under a charitable star.
Under Mars,
Oh, I especially think under Mars.
when he was a predominant.
When he was retrograde, I think rather.
Why think you so?
Well, you go so much backward when you fight.
Oh, that's for advantage.
So is running away.
I am so full of businesses, I cannot answer thee acutely. Farewell. When thou hast leisure, say thou prayers. When thou hast none, remember thy friends. Get thee a good husband and use him well. And use him as he uses thee. So, ooh, farewell.
What power is it that mounts my love so high? It makes me see but cannot feed mine eye. Impossible be strange attempts to those that weigh their pains in sense, and do suppose that what hath been cannot be. Who ever strove to show her merit that did miss her love? The king's disease. My project may deceive me, but my intents are fixed and will not leave me.
The Florentines and Tuscans are by the ears, have fought with equal fortune and continue a braving war.
So 'tis reported, sir.
Nay, 'tis most credible. We have received it with caution that the Florentine will move us for speedy aid, wherein our dearest friend prejudicates the business and would seem to have us make denial. Thus is our answer, that Florence is denied before he comes, yet for our gentlemen that mean to see the Tuscan service, freely have they leave to stand on either part.
It may well serve a nursery to our gentry, who are sick for breathing and exploit.
What's he comes here?
Oh, it is the Count Roussillon, my good lord, young Bertram.
Oh, youth, thou bear'st thy father's face, frank nature, rather curious than in hate hath well composed thee. Welcome to Paris.
My thanks and duty are your majesty's.
I wish I had that corporal soundness now, as when thy father and myself in friendship first tried our soldiership.
His good remembrance, sir, lies richer in your thoughts than on his tomb.
Would I were with him. He would always say, methinks I hear him now, let me not live, this his good melancholy oft began, after my flame lacks oil, to be the snuff of younger spirits, whose apprehensive senses all but new things disdain. Yes. Oh, this he wished. I after him do after him wish too. Since I nor wax nor honey can bring home, I quickly would dissolve from my hive to give some laborers room.
You are loved, sir.
I fill a place, I know it. How long is it, Count, since the physician at your father's died? He was much famed.
Some 6 months since, my lord.
If he were living, I would try him yet. Oh, lend me an arm. The rest have worn me out with several applications. Welcome, Count. My son's no dearer.
Thank your majesty.
I know, madam, you love your gentlewoman entirely.
Faith, I do. Her father bequeathed her to me, and she herself, without other advantage, may lawfully make title to as much love as she finds.
Madam, I was very late, more near than I think she wished me. Alone she was, and did communicate to herself her own words to her own ears, she thought, I dare vow for her. They touch not any stranger else. Her matter was, she loved your son. This she delivered in the most bitter touch of sorrow that e'er I heard virgin exclaim in, which I held my duty speedily to acquaint you withal.
You have discharged this honestly. Keep it to yourself. Many likelihoods informed me of this before. Pray you, leave me. I will speak with you further anon. Even so it was with me when I was young. It is the show and seal of nature's truth, where love's strong passion is impressed in youth. By our remembrances of days foregone, such were our faults, or then we thought them none. Her eye is sick on it. I observe her now.
What is your pleasure, madam?
You know, Helen, I am a mother to you.
Mine honorable mistress.
Nay, a mother? Why not a mother? When I said a mother, methought you saw a serpent. What's in mother? But you start at it. I say, I am your mother. You ne'er oppressed me with a mother's groan, yet I express to you a mother's care. God's mercy, maiden, does it hurt thy blood to say I am thy mother? What's the matter with this distempered messenger of wet, this many-coloured iris round thine eyes? Why? That you are my daughter?
That I am not.
I say I am your mother.
Pardon, madam, the Count Roussillon cannot be my brother. I am from humble, he from honored name, no note upon my parents, his all noble. He must not be my brother.
Nor I your mother?
You are my mother, would you were. So that my lord your son were not my brother.
Yes, Helen, you might be my daughter-in-law. God shield you, mean it not. Daughter and mother, so strive upon your pulse. What? Pale again? You love my son. Invention is ashamed against the proclamation of thy passion. Say thou dost not, therefore tell me true. But tell me then, 'tis so, for look, thy cheeks confess it, the one to the other. Only sin and hellish obstinacy tie their tongue. That truth should be suspected. Speak, if so, tell me truly.
Good madam, pardon me.
Do you love my son?
Your pardon, my noble mistress.
Love you, my son?
Do not you love him, madam?
Go on about. My love hath interbond, whereof the world takes note. Oh, come, disclose the state of your affection. For your passions have to the full appeached.
Then I confess, here upon my knee, before high heaven and you, I love your son. My friends were poor but honest, so is my love. Be not offended, for it hurts not him that he is loved of me. I follow him not by any token of presumptuous suit, nor would I have him till I do deserve him. Yet never know how that desert should be. Let not your hate encounter with my love for loving where you do. But if yourself did ever in so true a flame of liking, wish chastely and love dearly, that your Diane was both herself and love, oh, then give pity to her, whose state is such that cannot choose but lend and give where she is sure to lose.
Had you not lately an intent, speak truly, to go to Paris?
Madam, I had.
Wherefore, tell truth.
I will tell truth, by grace itself, I swear. You know my father left me some prescriptions. There is a remedy, approved, set down, to cure the desperate languishings whereof the king is rendered lost.
This was your motive for Paris, was it? Speak.
My lord, your son made me think of this, else Paris and the medicine and the king had from the conversation of my thoughts happily been absent then.
But think you, Helen, if you should tender your supposed aid, he would receive it. He and his physicians are of a mind, he that they cannot help him, they that they cannot help. How shall they credit a poor unlearned girl?
There's something in it more than my father's skill, which was the greatest of his profession, that his good receipt shall for my legacy be sanctified by the luckiest stars of heaven. And would your honor but give me the leave to try success, I'd venture the well-lost life of mine on his grace's cure, by such an hour and day.
Dost thou believe it?
Aye, madam, knowingly.
Why, Helen, Thou shalt have my leave and love, means and attendance, and my loving's greetings to those of mine in court. I'll stay at home and pray God's blessing into thy attempt. Be gone tomorrow, and be sure of this: what I can help thee to, thou shalt not miss.
Farewell, young lords. These warlike principles do not throw from you. Farewell.
It's our hope, sir, after well-entered soldiers, to return and find your grace and health.
No, no, it cannot be. And yet, my heart will not confess he owes the malady that doth my life besiege. Farewell, young lords. Whether I live or die, be you the sons of worthy France. Again, I say farewell.
Health at your bidding. Serve your majesty.
Those girls of Italy, take heed of them. They say our French lack language to deny if they demand. Beware of being captives before you serve.
Our hearts receive your warnings.
Farewell.
Oh, my sweet little lord, that you will stay behind us.
I am commanded here and kept a coil with too young. Next year, it's too early.
And that mind's then to it, boys. Steal away bravely.
I shall stay here the 4-horse to a smock till honor be bought up and no sword worn but one to dance with. By heaven, I'll steal away.
Yeah, there's honor in that theft.
Commit it, Count.
I am your accessory, and so a farewell.
Pardon, my lord, for me and for my tidings.
I'll fee thee to stand up.
Here's a man stands that has brought his pardon. I would you had kneeled, my lord, to ask me mercy, and that at my bidding you could so stand up. Will you be cured of your infirmity?
No.
Yes, but you will. For I have seen a medicine that's able to breathe life into a stone with sprightly fire. My lord, there's one arrived, if you will see her, by my faith and honor. Now I have spoke with one that in her sex, her years and wisdom hath amazed me more than I dare blame my weakness. Will you see her? For that is her demand, and know her business. That done, laugh well at me.
Now, good Lafeu, bring in the admiration, that we with thee may spend our wonder too, or take off thine, by wondering how thou tookst it.
Make cake, come your ways.
This haste hath wings indeed.
This is his majesty. Say your mind to him.
Now, fair one, does your business follow us?
Aye, my good lord. Gerard de Narbon was my father.
Oh, I knew him.
The rather will I spare my praises towards him, knowing him is enough. On his bed of death, many receipts he gave me, chiefly one, which as the dearest issue of his practice, he bade me store up more dear. I have so, and hearing your majesty is touched with that malignant cause wherein the honor of my dear father's gift stands chief in power, I come to tender it.
We thank you, madam, but may not be so credulous of cure when our most learned doctors leave us off. I say we must not so corrupt our hope, to sever so ourself as all to esteem a senseless hope when help past sense we deem.
What I can do no hurt to try. Since you've set your rest against remedy, he that of greatest works is finisher oft does them by the weakest minister. Oft expectation fails, and most oft there where it most promises. And oft it hits where hope is coldest and despair most fits.
I must not hear thee. Fare thee well, kind maid.
Dear sir, to my endeavors give consent. Of heaven, not me, make an experiment. I am not an impostor that proclaim myself against the level of mine aim. But know, I think, and think I know, most sure, my art is not past power, nor you past cure.
Upon thy certainty and confidence, what darest thou venture?
Worse of worst. Extended with vilest torture, let my life be ended.
Methinks in thee some blessed spirit doth speak his powerful sound within an organ weak. Sweet practiser, thy physic I will try, that ministers thine own death if I die.
If I break time or flinch in property of what I spoke, unpitied let me die, and well deserved. Not helping death's my fee. But if I help, what do you promise me?
Make thy demand.
But will you make it even?
Aye, by my scepter and my hopes of heaven.
Then shalt thou give me with thy kingly hand what husband in thy power I will command. Exempted be from me the arrogance to choose from forth the royal blood of France, but such a one, thy vassal, whom I know is free for me to ask thee to bestow.
Here is my hand. The premises observed, thy will by my performance shall be served. Give me some help here, ho! If thou proceed as high as word, my deed shall match thy meed.
They say miracles are past, and we have our philosophical persons to make modern and familiar things supernatural and
It
causeless.
is the rarest argument of wonder that has shot out in our latter times.
To be relinquished of the artists, both
So
of
I say.
Galen and Paracelsus, of
So
all
I
the
say.
learned and authentic fellows that
Hey,
gave him
so
out
I say.
incurable, not to be
I
helped,
said that too.
uncertain life and sure death.
Yes, 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 you say well. You say well. So what I have said.
I may truly say it is a novelty to the world.
It is. Indeed. If you will have it in showing, you shall read it in what do you call it?
The showing of a heavenly effect in an earthly actor.
That's it. I would have said that. I would have said the very same.
While your Dauphin is not lustier, for me, I speak in respect.
Hey, strange. It is very strange. That is the brief and the tedious of it, and he is a most fascinarious spirit that will not acknowledge it to be the
very hand of heaven.
That's what I was gonna say.
In a most weak and debile minister, great power, great transcendence, which should indeed give us a further use to be made than alone the recovery of a king, as to be generally thankful.
I would have said it. You say well. Oh, here comes the king.
Lustig, as the Dutchman says, oh, like a maid the better. Well, I have a tooth in my head. Why, he's able to lead her in a Coranto?
Mort de Vinaigre. Is not this Helen?
For God, I think so.
Go! Call before me all the lords in court. Sit, my preserver, by thy patient side, and with this healthful hand, whose banished sense thou hast repealed, a second time receive the confirmation of my promised gift, which but attends thy naming, fair maid. Send forth thine eye. This youthful parcel of noble bachelors stand at thy bestowing, all whom both sovereign power and father's voice I have to use. Thy frank election make, thou hast power to choose, and they none to forsake.
To each of you, one fair and virtuous mistress fall, when love please. Marry to each but one.
Peruse them well, not one of those, but had a noble father.
Gentlemen, heaven hath through me restored the king to health. I am a simple maid, and therein wealthiest, that I protest I simply am a maid. Please your majesty, I have done already. The blushes in my cheeks thus whisper, we blush that you should choose, but be refused. Let the white death sit on thy cheek forever. We'll ne'er come there again.
Thou make choice and see. Who shuns my love, shuns all his love of me.
I'll to it then. Ben Cordes, will you hear my suit? The honor, sir, that flames in your fair eyes before I speak too threateningly replies. Bruce Pingree, love make your fortunes 20 times above her that so wishes, and her humble love. Amber Elby, be not afraid that I your hand should take. I'll never do you wrong for your own sake. Blessings upon your vows, and in your bed find fairer fortune, if ever you wed.
These boys and girl are of ice, they'll none have her.
I dare say I do not take you, but I give me and my service, ever whilst I live, into your guiding power. This is the man.
Why then, young Bertram, take her. She's thy wife.
My wife, my liege? I shall beseech your highness in such a business give me leave to use the help of mine own eyes.
Knowest not thou not, Bertram, what she has done for me?
Yes, my good lord, but never hoped to know why I should marry her.
Thou knowest she has raised me from my sickly bed.
But follows it, my lord, to bring me down must answer for your raising? I know her well. She had her breeding at my father's charge. A poor physician's daughter, my wife. Disdain rather corrupt me ever.
'Tis only title thou disdainst in her, the which I can build up. Strange is it, our bloods of color, weight, and heat poured all together would quite confound distinction, yet stand off in differences so mighty. If she be all that is virtuous, save what you dislikest, a poor physician's daughter, thou dislikest of virtue for the name. What should be said? That thou canst like this creature as a maid, I can create the rest. Virtue and she is her own dower, honor and wealth from me.
I cannot love her, nor will I strive to do it.
Thou wrongest thyself if thou shouldst strive to choose.
That you are well restored, my lord, I am glad. Let the rest go.
And my honor's at the stake, which to defeat, I must produce my power. Here, take her hand, proud, scornful boy, unworthy this good gift, that dost in vile misprison shackle up my love and her desert, that wilt not know it is in us to plant thine honor where we please to have it grow. Check thy contempt. Believe not thy disdain, but presently do thine own fortunes that obedient right which both thy duty owes to our power claims. Or I will throw thee from my care forever without all terms of bidding. Speak thine answer.
Pardon, my gracious lord, for I submit my fancy to your eyes. When I consider what great creation and what dole of honor flies where you bid it, I find that she, which late was in my nobler thoughts most base, is now a praise to the king, who so ennobled as were born so.
Take her by the hand and tell her she is thine, to whom I promise a counterpoise, if not to thy estate, a balance more replete.
I take her hand.
Good fortune and the favor of the king smile upon this contract, whose ceremony shall seem expedient on the now born brief, and be performed tonight. As thou lovest her, thy love's to me religious, else does err.
Do you hear, Monsieur? Monsieur, a word with you.
Your pleasure, sir.
Your lord and master did well to make his recantation.
Recantation? My lord, my master?
Is it not a language I speak?
A most harsh one, and not to be understood without bloody succeeding. My master?
Are you companion to the Count Roussillon?
To any count, to all counts. To what is man?
To what is Count's man? Count's master is of another style.
No, you are too old, sir. Let it satisfy you. You are too old.
Oh, I have not found thee. Now, when I lose thee again, I care not. Yet thou art good for nothing but taking up, and that thou art scarce worth.
Hadst thou not the privilege of antiquity upon thee,
Do not plunge thyself too far in anger, lest thou hasten thy trial. Fare thee well, thy casement I need not open, for I look through thee.
My lord, you give me most egregious indignity.
Aye, with all my heart, and thou art worthy of it.
I have not, my lord, deserved it.
Yes, good faith, every dram of it.
My lord, you do me most insupportable vexation.
I would it were hell pains for thy sake.
Well, the sun shall take this disgrace off me, scurvy old filthy scurvy lord. I'll beat him. By my life, if I can meet him with any convenience, and he were double and double a lord, I'll have no more pity of his age. I'll beat him. And if I could meet him again.
Sirrah, your lord and master is married. There's news for you. You have a new mistress.
I must unfeignedly beseech your lordship to make some reservation of your wrongs. He is my good lord, whom I serve above is my master.
Who? God?
I, sir.
The devil it is that's thy master. By mine honor, if I were but 2 hours younger, I'd beat thee. And methinks thou art a general offense, and every man should beat thee.
This is hard and undeserved measure, my lord.
Go to, sir. You're a vagabond and no true traveler. You are not worth another word. Else I'd call you knave. I leave you.
Oh, undone, forfeited to cares forever.
What's the matter, sweetheart?
Although before the solemn priest I have sworn, I'll not bed her.
What? Sweetheart.
Oh, my Parolles, they have married me. Out to the Tuscan wars and never bed her.
Now, France is a dog hole, and it no more merits the tread of a man's foot. To the wars.
There's letters from my mother. What the import is, I know not yet.
That would be known. To the wars, my boy. To the wars. He wears his honor in a box unseen that hugs his kicky wicky here at home, spending his manly marrow in her arms, which should sustain the bound and highest curvet of Mars, fiery steed. Therefore, to the wars.
It shall be so. I'll send her to my house. I'll acquaint my mother with my hate for her and wherefore I am fled. I'll write to the king that which I durst not speak. His present gift shall furnish me to those Italian fields where noble fellows strike. War is no strife to the dark house and the detested wife. Go with me to my chamber and advise me. I'll send her straight away. Tomorrow, I'll to the wars. She to her single sorrow.
A young man married is a man that's marred. Therefore, away and leave her bravely. Go! Bless you, my fortunate lady.
I hope, sir, I have your goodwill to have mine own good fortunes.
You had my prayers to lead them on, and to keep them on, have them still. Madam, my lord will go away tonight. A very serious business calls on him, the great prerogative and right of love, which, as your due, time claims he does acknowledge, but puts it off to a compelled restraint. Instead, commands you take your leave of the king, strengthened with what apology you think may make it a probable need.
What more commands he?
That, having this obtained, you presently attend his further pleasure.
In everything I wait upon his will.
I shall report it so.
I pray you.
But I hope your lordship thinks him not a soldier.
Yes, my lord, and a very valiant of proof.
You have it from his own deliverance.
I do assure you, my lord, he is very great in knowledge and accordingly valiant.
I have then sinned against his experience and transgressed against his valor, and my state that way is dangerous, since I cannot yet find in my heart to repent. Here he comes. I pray you, make us friends. I will pursue the amity.
These things shall be done, sir.
Is she gone to the king?
She is.
Will she wait tonight?
As you'll have her.
All right. I have writ my letters, casketed my treasure, given order for our horses, and tonight, when I should take possession of the bride, and ere I do begin.
God save you, Captain.
Is there any unkindness between my lord and you, monsieur?
I know not how I have deserved to run into my lord's displeasure.
You made shift to run into it, and out of it you'll run again rather than suffer question for your residence.
Maybe you've mistaken him, my lord.
And shall do so ever, though I look him at's prayers. Fare you well, my lord, and believe this of me, there can be no kernel in this light nut. Farewell, monsieur. I have spoken better of you than you have or will to deserve at my hand.
Oh, an idle lord. Do you not know him?
Yes, I do know him well, and common speech gives him a worthy pass. Oh, here comes my clog.
I have, sir, as I was commanded from you, spoke with the king and have procured his leave for present parting. Only he desires some private speech with you.
I shall obey his will. You must not marvel, Helen, at my course. Prepared I was not for such a business, and therefore am I found so much unsettled. This drives me to entreat you head for home. Once there, please give this letter to my mother. 'Twill be 2 days ere I shall see you, so I leave you to your wisdom.
Sir, I can nothing say, but I am your most obedient servant.
Come, no more of that.
And ever shall with true observance seek to eke out that wherein toward me my homely stars have failed to equal my great fortune.
Let that go. Look, my haste is very great. Farewell. hie home?
Pray, sir, your pardon.
Well, what would you say?
I am not worthy of the wealth I owe, but like a timorous thief, most fain would steal what law does vouch mine own.
What would you have?
Strangers and foes do sunder and not kiss.
I pray you, stay not, but in haste to horse.
I shall not break your bidding, my good lord.
Where are my other men, monsieur? Farewell. Oh, go thou towards home where I will never come. I can shake my sword or hear the drum. Away for our flight.
Bravely, coraggio.
It hath happened all as I would have it, save that Bertram comes not along with Helena. Let me see what he writes, and when he means to come. I have sent you a daughter-in-law. She hath recovered the king and undone me. I have wedded her, not bedded her, and sworn to make the knot eternal. You shall hear I am run away, know it before the report come. If there be breath enough in the world, I will hold a long distance. My duty to you, your unfortunate son, Bertram. This is not well, rash and unbridled boy. Fly the favours of so good a king.
Madam, my lord is gone, forever gone.
Think upon patience.
Look upon this letter. When thou canst get the ring upon my finger, which never shall come off, and show me a child begotten of thy body that I am father to, then call me husband. But in such a then, I write a never. This is a dreadful sentence.
I prithee, lady, have a better cheer. If thou engrossest all the griefs are thine, thou robb'st me of a moiety. He was my son, but I do wash his name out of my blood, and thou art all my child. Towards Florence is he? Indeed, to go to war, such is his purpose.
Till I have no wife, I have nothing in France. 'Tis bitter.
Find you that there?
Aye, madam.
Nothing in France until he have no wife. There's nothing here that is too good for him, but only she. And she deserves a lord that 20 such rude boys might tend upon and call her hourly mistress. Who was with him? Parolles, was it not? A tainted fellow, and full of wickedness. My son corrupts a well-derived nature with that man. I will write to my son with greatest haste to tell him that his sword can never win the honour that he loses.
Till I have no wife, I have nothing in France. Nothing in France until you have no wife? Thou shalt have none, Roussillon, none in France. Then hast thou all again. Poor lord, is't I that chase thee from thy country and expose those tender limbs of thine to the event of the none-sparing war? Do not touch my lord, whoever shoots at him. I set him there, and though I kill him not, I am the cause. No, come thou home, my lord. I will be gone. That pitiful rumor which may report my flight to consolate thine ears. Come night and day, for with the dark, poor thief, I'll steal away.
The general of our horse thou art, and we, great in our hope, lay our best love and credence upon thy promising fortune.
Sir, it is a charge too heavy for my strength, but yet we'll strive to bear it for your worthy sake to the extreme edge of hazard.
Then go thou forth, and fortune play upon thy prosperous helm as thy auspicious mistress.
This very day, great Mars, I'll put myself into thy file. Make me but like my thoughts, and I shall prove a lover of thy drum and a hater of love.
Alas, and would you take the letter of her? Might you not know she would as she has done, by sending me a letter? Read it again.
Am St. Jack's pilgrim, thither gone, ambitious love hath in me so offended, that barefoot plod I the cold ground upon, with sainted vow my faults to have amended. Right, that from the bloody course of war, my dearest master, your son, may high, He is too good and fair for death and me, whom I myself embrace to set him free, Helena.
Ah, what sharp stings are in her mildest words. Lafeu, sir, you did never lack advice so much as letting her pass so. Had I spoke with her, I could have well diverted her intents.
If I had given you this at o'ernight, she might have been o'ertaken, and yet she writes, pursuit would be but in vain.
Oh, what angel shall bless this unworthy husband? Right, Lafeu. This unworthy husband of his wife, let every word weigh heavy of her worth, and he does weigh too light my greatest grief, the little he do feel it. Set down sharply. When haply he shall hear that she is gone, he will return, and hope I may that she, hearing so much, will speed her foot again. Oh, my heart is heavy, and mine age is weak. Grief would have tears, and sorrow bids me speak.
Nay, come, for if they do approach the city, we shall lose all the sight.
They say the French count has done most honorable service.
It is reported that he has taken their greatest commander, and that was with his own hand he slew the Duke's brother. Diana, take heed of this French earl. The honor of a maid is her name, and no legacy is so rich as honesty. I have told my neighbor how you've been solicited by his companion. I know that name. Hang him. One Parolles. A filthy officer he is in those suggestions for the young earl. Beware of them, Diana. Their promises, enticements, oaths, tokens, and all these engines of lust are not the things they go under. Many a maid hath been seduced by them. I hope I need not to advise you further.
Oh, you shall not need to fear me.
I hope so. Oh, look, here comes a pilgrim. I know she will lie at my house. I'll question her. God save you, pilgrim. Whither are you bound?
To St. Jacques-le-Grand. Where do the Palmers lodge, I do beseech you?
At the St. Francis, here beside the port.
Is this the way?
Aye, merry holy pilgrim. I will conduct you where you shall be lodged, the rather, for I think I know your host as ample as I myself.
Is it yourself?
If you shall please, oh yes, pilgrim.
I thank you, and will stay upon your leisure.
You came, I think, from France?
I did so.
Here you shall see a countryman of yours that has done worthy service.
His name, I pray you?
The Count Roussillon. Know you such a one?
But by the ear, that hears most nobly of him. His face I know not.
Whatsoever he is, he's bravely taken here. He stole from France, as 'tis reported, for the king had married him against his liking. Think you it is so?
Aye, surely, near the truth. I know his lady.
Oh. There's a gentleman that serves the count reports but coarsely of her.
What's his name?
Monsieur Parolles.
Oh, I believe with him. In argument of praise or to the worth of the great count himself, she is too mean to have her name repeated.
Oh, poor lady. 'Tis a hard bondage to become the wife of a detesting lord.
I warned, good creature, wheresoe'er she is, her heart weighs sadly. This young maid might do her a shrewd turn if she pleased.
How do you mean? Maybe the amorous count solicits her in the unlawful purpose?
He does indeed, but she is armed for him and keeps her guard in honestest defense. Oh, so now they come.
Which is the Frenchman?
He. A gallant fellow. I would he loved his wife. If he were honester, he were much goodlier.
I like him well.
'Tis pity he is not honest. Oh, yon's that same knave that leads him to these places. Were I his lady, I would poison that vile rascal.
Which is he?
No, the jackanapes with scarves. Why is he melancholy?
Perchance he's hurt in the battle.
Lose our drum. Lose our drum. Wow.
Oh, he's surely vexed at something. Oh, look, he has spied us.
Harry, hang you and your courtesy for a ring carrier. Oh, the troop is past. Come, pilgrim, I will bring you where you shall host of enjoined penitents, there are 4 or 5, to great St. Jacques bound, already at my house.
I humbly thank you.
Nay, good my lord, put him to it. Let him have his way. If your lordship find him not a hilding, hold me no more in your respect.
On my life, my lord, a bubble.
Do you think I am so far deceived in him?
Believe it, my lord, in mine own direct knowledge, without any malice. But to speak of him as my kinsman, he is a most notable coward, an infinite and endless liar, an hourly promise breaker, the owner of no one good quality worthy of your lordship's
It
entertainment.
were fit you knew him, lest, reposing too far in his virtue, which he hath not, he might at some great and trusty business in a main danger fail you.
I would I knew in what particular action to try him.
None better than to let him fetch off his drum, which you hear him so confidently undertake to do.
I, with a troop of Florentines, will suddenly surprise him, such as I will have, who I am sure he knows not from the enemy. We will bind and hoodwink him so that he shall suppose no other but that he is carried into the leaguer of the adversaries, when we bring him to our own tents. Be but your lordship present at his examination. If he do not, for the promise of his life and in the highest compulsion of base fear, offer to betray you and deliver all the intelligence in his power against you, and that with the divine forfeit of his soul upon oath, never trust my judgment in anything.
Oh, for the love of laughter, let him fetch his drum. When your lordship sees the bottom of his success in it, and to what metal his counterfeit lump of ore will be melted. Here he comes.
For the love of laughter, hinder not the honor of his design. Let him fetch off his drum.
Now, monsieur, this drum sticks sorely in your disposition.
A pox on it, let it go. I mean, tis but a drum.
But a drum? It's but a drum? A drum so lost?
Well, some dishonor we had in the loss of that drum, but it's not to be recovered.
It might have been recovered.
It might, but it is not now.
It is to be recovered. But the merit of service is seldom attributed to the true and exact performer. I would have that drum.
Why, if you have a stomach to it, monsieur. If you think your mystery and stratagem can bring this instrument of honor again into his native quarter, be magnanimous in the enterprise and go on.
By the hand of a soldier, I will undertake it. How about it this evening? And I will presently encourage myself in my certainty, put myself into my mortal preparation, and by midnight look to hear further from me. I know not what the success will be, my lord, but the attempt I vow.
I know thou art valiant. Farewell.
I love not many words.
No more than a fish loves water. Is not this a strange fellow, my lord, that so confidently seems to undertake this business, which he knows is not to be done?
You do not know him, my lord, as we do, but when you find him out, you will have him ever after.
Why, do you think you will make no deed at all of this that so seriously he does address himself unto?
None in the world, but return with an invention and clap upon you 2 or 3 probable lies. But you shall see his fall tonight. I must go look my twigs. Here he shall be caught.
Your brother, he shall go along with me.
As it please your lordship. I'll leave you.
Now I'll lead you to the house and show you the lass I spoke of.
Oh, but you say she's honest.
That's all the fault. I spoke with her but once and found her wondrous cold. I sent her tokens and letters, which she did resend, and this is all I've done. Oh, but she's a fair creature. Will you go see her?
With all my heart, my lord.
If you misdoubt me that I am she, I know not how I shall assure you further. First, give me trust. The Count, he is my husband. And what to your sworn counsel I have spoken is so from word to word. And then you cannot, by the good aid that I of you shall borrow, err in bestowing it.
I should believe you, for you have showed me that which well approves your great infortune.
Take this purse of gold.
Oh.
And let me buy your friendly help thus far, which I will overpay and pay again when I have found it. The count he woos your daughter, resolves to carry her. Let her in fine consent, as will direct her how 'tis best to bear it. Now, his important blood will not deny that she'll demand. A ring the count he wears, that downward hath succeeded in his house from son to son, some 4 or 5 descents since the first father wore it. This ring he holds in most rich choice. Yet in his idle fire, to buy his will, it would not seem too dear, howe'er repented after.
Now I see the bottom of your purpose.
So you see it lawful then. It is no more but that your daughter, ere she seems as one, desires this ring, appoints him to an encounter, in fine, delivers me to fill the time, herself most chastely absent. After this, to marry her, I'll add 3,000 crowns to what has passed already.
I have yielded. Instruct my daughter how she shall persevere, that time and place with this deceit so lawful be put into effect.
Why then tonight, let us essay our plot, which, if it speed, is wicked meaning in a lawful deed.
He can come no other way but by this hedge corner. When we sally upon him, speak what terrible language you will, though you understand it not yourselves, no matter. For we must not seem to understand him unless some one among us whom we must produce for an interpreter.
Good captain, let me be the interpreter.
Art thou not acquainted with him? Knows he not thy voice?
No, sir, I warrant you.
He must think us some band of strangers in the adversary's entertainment. Now, he hath a smack of all neighboring languages. Therefore, we must every one be a man of his own fancy, not to know what we speak to one another. So we seem to know. It is to know your straight our purpose. Gabble enough and good enough. As for you, interpreter, you must seem very politic. But, couch ho, here he comes.
10 o'clock. Within these 3 hours to be timed enough to go home. What shall I say I have done? Must be a very plausible invention that carries it. They begin to smoke me. And disgraces have of late knocked too often at my door. I find my tongue is too foolhardy.
This is the first truth that ere thine own
The
tongue
devil
was
should
guilty of.
move me to undertake the recovery of this drum, being not ignorant of the impossibility and knowing I had no such purpose. I must give myself some hurts. Say I got him an exploit, and slight ones will not carry it. Oh, yet they will say, came you off with so little, and great ones I dare not give.
Is it possible he should know what he is and be that he is?
And would the cutting of my garments would serve the turn, or the breaking of my Spanish sword,
No, 'twould not do.
or to drown my clothes, say that I was stripped.
Hardly serve.
Though I swore I leaped from the window of the citadel.
3 great oaths would scarce make that be believed.
I would I had any drum of the enemies. I would swear I recovered
We
it.
shall hear one anon.
A drum now of the enemies.
Trocamovosas, cargo, cargo,
Cargo,
cargo,
cargo, cargo, cargo, cargo, cargo, cargo, cargo, cargo, cargo.
Oh, Ransom! Ransom, do not hide mine eyes!
Namaskar, ji, namaskar.
I would live. I know you are the Muscos Regiment, and I shall lose my life for want of language if there be here German or Dane, Low Dutch, Italiano, Francais. Let him speak to me. I will discover that which shall undo the Florentine.
Main आपको समझता हूँ. I understand thee. I can speak thy tongue. Jaldiao, sir, betake thee to thy fate, for 17 poignards are at thy bosom. Oh, pray, pray, pray. Partanaha karo ya marjauge.
Or scorbidulchos, volivorco.
Mm-hmm. The general is content to spare thee yet, and hoodwinked as thou art, will lead thee on to gather from thee. Happily, thou mayst inform something to save thy life.
Oh, let me live, and let the secrets of our camp I'll show. All the secrets of our camp I'll show. Their force, their purposes. I will speak that which you will wonder at.
But wilt thou faithfully?
Aye, if I do not, damn me.
Hamare sought thou. Come on.
Ah.
Thou art granted space.
I'll tell Count Roussillon and my brother we have caught the woodcock, and will keep him muffled till he betray us all unto ourselves. Till then, I'll keep him dark and safely locked.
They told me your name was Fontabelle.
No, my good lord. Diana.
Titled goddess. In your fine frame hath love no quality? When you are dead, should such a one be as you are now? For you are cold and stern, and now you should be as your mother was when your sweet self was got.
She then was honest.
So should you be.
No, my mother did but duty, such, my lord, as you owe to your wife.
Ah, no more of that. I prithee, do not strive against my vows. I was compelled to her. I love thee by love's own constraint, and I will forever.
'Tis not the many oaths that makes the truth, but the plain single vow that is vowed true. Lest I forsake myself, give me that ring.
I'll lend it to thee, my dear, but I have no power to give it from me.
Will you not, my lord?
It is an honor belonging to our house, bequeathed down from many ancestors, which were the greatest obliquity of the world and me to lose.
Mine honors such a ring. Oh, my chastity is the jewel of our house, bequeathed down from many ancestors, which were the greatest obloquy in the world, and me to lose.
Here, take my ring, my house, mine honor, yea, my life be thine, and I'll be bid by thee.
When midnight comes, knock at my chamber window. I'll order take my mother shall not hear. Okay? And when you have conquered my yet maiden bed, remain there but an hour, nor speak to me. My reasons are most strong, and you shall know them when back again this ring shall be delivered.
Okay.
And on your finger in the night, I'll put another ring that what in time proceeds may token to the future our past deeds. Adieu, till then. Then fail not. You have won a wife of me, though there my hope be done.
Heaven on earth I have won by wooing thee.
For which live long to thank both heaven and me. Ah, my mother told me just how he would woo as if she sat in his heart. She says all men have the like oaths. He had sworn to marry me when his wife's dead. Therefore, I'll lie with him when I am buried. Since Frenchmen are so braid, marry that will. I live and die a maid.
You've not given him his mother's letter?
I have delivered it an hour since. There is something in it that stings his nature, for on the reading it, he changed almost into another man.
He has much worthy blame laid upon him for shaking off so good a wife and so sweet a lady.
Especially he hath incurred the everlasting displeasure of the king. I will tell you a thing, but you shall let it dwell darkly with you.
When you have spoken it, 'tis dead, and I am grave of it.
He hath perverted a young gentlewoman here in Florence of a most chaste renown, and this night he fleshes his will in the spoil of her honor. He hath given her his monumental ring.
Wait. We shall not then have his company tonight?
Not till after midnight, for he is dieted to his hour.
That approaches apace. I would gladly have him see his company anatomized, that he might take the measure of his own judgments.
We will not meddle with him till he come.
Oh God. In the meantime, what hear you of these wars?
I hear there is an overture of peace.
Nay, I assure you, a peace concluded.
Well, what will Count Roussillon do then? Will he travel higher or return again to France?
No, sir, his wife, some 2 months since, fled from his house. Her pretense is a pilgrimage to Saint-Jacques-le-Grand, and there residing, the tenderness of her nature became as a prey to her grief. Now she sings in heaven.
How is this justified?
Her death itself was faithfully confirmed by the rector of the place.
Hath the Count all this intelligence?
Aye, and the particular confirmations, point from point.
I am heartily sorry that he'll be glad of this.
The web of our life is of a mingled yarn, good and ill together. Our virtues would be proud if our faults whipped them not, and our crimes would despair if they were not cherished by our virtues. How now, my lord? After midnight? Not yet?
I have dispatched tonight 16 businesses, a month's length apiece. I've buried a wife, mourned for her, writ to my lady mother I am returning, and between these main parcels of dispatch effected many nicer deeds. The last was the greatest, but that I have not yet ended.
If the business be of any difficulty, and this morning your departure hence, it requires haste of your lordship.
I mean, the business is not ended, as fearing to hear of it hereafter. But shall we have this dialogue between the fool and the soldier? Come, bring forth the counterfeit module.
Bring him forth! Has sat in the stocks all night, poor gallant knave.
No matter, his heels have deserved it in usurping his spurs so long. How does he carry himself?
I have told your lordship already, the stocks carry him. But to answer you as you would be understood, he weeps like a wench that hath shed her milk. He hath confessed himself from the time of his remembrance to this very instant disaster of his setting in the stocks. And what think you he hath confessed?
Oh, nothing of me, has he?
Oh, his confession is taken, and it shall be read to his face. If your lordship be in it, as I believe you are, you must have patience to hear it.
Oh, plague upon him. He can say nothing of me. Hush, hush.
Huntsman comes.
Ooh, he calls for the tortures. What will you say without him?
I will confess what I know without constraint. If you pinch me like a pasty, I'll say no more.
Oh, namen na seriede.
Ne, Bobelindo chimichurro.
You are a merciful general. Our general bids you answer to what I shall ask you out of a note.
And truly, as I hope to live.
First, demand of him how many horse the Duke is strong. What say you to that?
5,000 or 6,000, but very weak and unserviceable. The troops are all scattered, and the commanders are very poor rogues. Upon my reputation and credit, as I hope to live.
Shall I set down your answer so?
Do. I'll take the sacrament on it.
Oh, all's one to him. What a past-saving slave is this?
You are deceived, my lord. This is Monsieur Parolles, the gallant militarist. That was literally his own phrase that had the whole theoric of war in the knot of his scarf.
I will never trust a man again for keeping his sword clean.
Well, that's set down.
5,000 or 6,000 horses. I'll say true or thereabouts. Set down. I'll speak truth.
He's very near the truth in this.
But I come no thanks for it in the nature he delivers it.
Poor rogues, I pray you. Poor rogues, I pray you say.
Well, that's set down.
I humbly thank you. Oh, sir, a truth's a truth. The rogues are marvelous poor.
What shall be done to him?
Nothing. But let him have thanks. Oh! Demand of him my condition and what credit I have with the Duke.
You shall demand of him whether one Captain Dumain be in the camp, a Frenchman, what his reputation is with the Duke, what his valor, honesty, and expertness in wars, or whether he thinks it were not possible with well-weighing sums of gold to corrupt him to revolt. What say you to this?
I beseech you, let me answer to the particular of the interrogatories. Demand them singly.
Do you know this Captain Dumain?
I know him. He's a botcher's prentice in Paris, from whence he was whipped for getting the Shreve's fool with child. A dumb innocent that could not say him nay.
Well, nay, by your leave, hold your hands, though I know his brains are forfeit to the next tile it falls.
This captain in the Duke of Florence's camp?
Upon my knowledge, he is, and lousy.
No, nay, look not so upon me, huh? We'll hear of your lordship anon.
What is his reputation with the Duke?
The Duke knows him for no other but a poor officer of mine, and writ to me this other day to turn him out of the band. I think I have his letter in my pocket.
Mary, we'll search.
In good silence, I do not know. Either it is there or it is upon a file with the Duke's other letters in my tent.
Ah, here 'tis. Here's a paper. Shall I read it to you?
I do not know if it be it or no.
Our interpreter does it well.
Excellently.
Diane, the Count's a fool and full of gold.
This is not the Duke's letter, sir. This is an advertisement to a proper maid in Florence. One Diana, to take heed of the allurement of one Countess, a foolish, idle boy. I pray you, sir, put it up again.
Nay, I'll read it first by your favor.
No, my meaning, I protest, was very honest in the behalf of the maid, for I knew the young Count to be a dangerous, lascivious boy who is a whale to virginity and devours up all the fry it finds.
Damnable both sides rogue.
When he swears oaths, bid him drop gold and take it. After he scores, he never pays the score. Half won is match well made, match and well make it. He ne'er pays after debts, take it before. Thine, he has vowed to thee in thine ear. Parolles.
He shall be whipped through the army with this rhyme in his forehead.
This is your devoted friend, sir, the omnipotent soldier.
I could endure anything before but a cat. And now he's a cat to me.
I perceive, sir, by the general's looks, we shall be fain to hang you.
My life, sir, in any case, not that I am afraid to die, but that my offenses being many, I would repent out the remainder of nature. Let me live, sir, in a dungeon, in the stocks, or anywhere, so I may live.
Well, we'll see what may be done, so you confess freely. Therefore, once more to this Captain Dumain. You have answered to his reputation with the Duke and to his valor. What is his honesty?
He will steal, sir, an egg out of a cloister. For rapes and ravishments, he parallels Nessus. He professes not keeping of oaths, and breaking them, he is stronger than Hercules. He will lie, sir, with such volubility that would you think truth were a fool, drunkenness is his best virtue, for he will be swine drunk. And in his sleep, he does little harm, save to his bedclothes about him. I have but little more to say, sir, of his honesty. He has everything that an honest man should not have. What an honest man should have, he has nothing.
I begin to love him for this.
For this description of thine honesty. A pox upon him from me. He's more and more of a cat.
What's his brother? The other Captain Dumain.
Why does he be ask him of me?
What's he?
Oh, eating a crow of the same nest. Oh, not altogether so great as the first in goodness, but greater a great deal in evil. He excels his brother for a coward, yet his brother is reputed one of the best that is. In a retreat, he outruns any lackey merry. In coming on, he has the cramp.
If your life be saved, will you undertake to betray the Florentine?
I and the captain of his horse, Count Roussillon.
I'll whisper with the general and know his pleasure.
I'll no more drumming. A plague of all drums. Only to seem to deserve well and to beguile the supposition of that lascivious young boy, the Count, have I run into this danger. Yet who would have suspected an ambush where I was taken? Where I was taken.
There is no remedy, sir. You must die. The general says... The general says, you that have so traitorously discovered the secrets of your army and made such pestiferous reports of men very nobly held, can serve the world for no honest use. Therefore, you must die. Come, headsman, off with his head.
Oh, Lord, sir, let me live, or let me see my death.
That shall you undertake your leaves of your friends. So, look about you. Do you know anyone here?
Tomorrow, noble captain.
God bless you, Captain Parolles.
God bless you, noble captain.
Captain, what greeting will you to my Lord Lafeu? I am for France.
Captain, will you leave a copy of the sonnet that you writ to Diana on behalf of the Count Lucio? Oh, you know, and I were not a very coward. I would compel it of you, but fare you well.
You are undone, Captain, all but your scarf. That has a knot on it yet.
Who cannot be crushed with a plot?
Oh, fare you well, sir. I'm for France too. We shall speak of you there.
Yet am I thankful. My heart were great would burst at this. Captain, I'll be no more. But I will eat and drink, and sleep as soft as captain shall. Simply the thing I am shall make me live. Simply the thing I am shall make me live. Who knows himself a braggart, let him fear this, or it will come to pass that every braggart shall be found an ass.
That you may well perceive I have not wronged you, one of the greatest in the Christian world shall be my surety, for whose throne 'tis needful ere I can perfect mine intents to kneel. Time was I did him a desired office. His grace is at Marseille, to which place we have convenient convoy. You must know, I am supposed dead. The army breaking, my husband hies him home, where heaven aiding and by the leave of my good lord the king will be before our welcome.
Gentle madam, you never had a servant to whose trust your business was more welcome.
Nor you, mistress, ever a friend whose thoughts more truly labor to recompense your love. Doubt not, but heaven hath brought me up to be your daughter's dower, as it hath fated her to be my motive and helper to a husband. But strange men that can such sweet use make of what they hate. But more of this anon. You, Diana, under my poor instructions, yet must suffer something in my behalf.
Let death and honesty go with your impositions. I am yours upon your will to suffer.
Yet I pray you, but with the word, the time will bring on summer, when briars shall have leaves as well as thorns, and be as sweet as sharp. We must away, our wagon is prepared, and time revives us. All's well that ends well. Still the fine's the crown, whate'er the course, the end is the renown.
No. Your son was misled with a snip taffeta fellow there, whose villainous saffron would have made all the unbaked and doughy youth of a nation in his color.
How was I had not known him? It was the death of the most virtuous gentlewoman that ever nature had praised for creating. If she had partaken of my flesh and cost me the dearest groans of a mother, I could not have owed her a more rooted love.
I was about to tell you, since I heard of the good lady's death, and that my lord your son was upon his return home, I moved the king my master to speak in the behalf of my daughter, Maudlin, which in the minority of them both, his majesty did first propose, and to stop up the displeasure he hath conceived against your son, there is no fitter matter. How does your ladyship like it?
With very much content, my lord, and I wish it happily effected.
His Highness comes post from Marseille, of as able body as when he numbered 30. He will be here tomorrow, or I am deceived by him that in such intelligence hath seldom failed.
It rejoices me that I hope I shall see him ere I die. I have letters that my son will be here tonight. I shall beseech your lordship to remain with me till he and Maudlin meet together.
Let us go see your son, I pray you. I long to talk with the young noble soldier.
Oh, but this exceeding post and night and day must wear your spirits low. Oh, in happy time, this man may help me to the Majesty's ear, if he would spend his power. God save you, sir.
And you?
Sir, I have seen you in the court of France.
Well, I have sometimes been there.
I do presume, sir, that you are not fallen from the report that goes upon your goodness, and therefore goaded with most sharp occasions which lay nice manners by, I put you to the use of your own virtues, for the which I will continue thankful.
Well, what's your will?
that it will please you to give this poor petition to the king and aid me with what store of power you have to come into his presence.
Oh, the king's not here.
Not here, sir.
Not indeed. He hence removed last night, and with more haste than is his use.
Lord, how we lose our pains.
All's well that ends well yet. Though time seems so adverse and means unfit, I do beseech you, whither is he gone?
Marry, as I take it to Roussillon, whither I'm going.
I do beseech you, sir, since you are like to be there before the king, before me, commend this paper to his gracious hand, which I presume shall render you no blame, but rather make you thank your pains for it. I will come after you with what good speed our means will make us means.
This I will do for you.
And you shall find yourself to be well thanked. We must to horsed again. Go, provide.
My lord, I am a man whom fortune hath cruelly scratched.
And would you have me do? 'Tis too late to pare her nails now.
I beseech your honor to hear me one single word.
You beg a single penny more? Come, you shall have, save your word.
My name, my good lord, is Parolles.
You beg more than word, then. How does your drum?
Ah! My good lord, you were the first that found me.
Was I? In sooth, that I was the first that lost thee.
It lies in you, my lord, to bring me in some grace, for you to bring me out.
The king's coming. Sir, inquire further after me. Though you are a fool and a knave, you shall eat. Go to, follow.
I praise God for you.
We lost a jewel of her, and our esteem was made much poorer by it. But your son, as mad in folly, lacked the sense to know her estimation home. Countess.
She says 'tis past, my liege, and I beseech
Well,
your majesty.
now, my
to
honored
reconcile
lady,
it.
I've forgiven all and forgotten all, though my revenges were high bent upon him and watched the time to shoot. Call him hither. The nature of his great offense is dead, and deeper than oblivion we do bury the incensing relics of it. Let him approach, a stranger, no offender, and inform him so 'tis our will he should.
I shall, my liege.
What says he to your daughter? Have you spoke?
All that he is hath reverence to your highness.
Now then, shall we have a match? I have letters sent to me that set him high in fame.
He looks well on't.
I am not a day of season, for thou mayest see a sunshine and a hail in me at once, but to the brightest beams distracted clouds give way. So stand thou forth. The time is fair again.
My high repented blames, dear sovereign, pardon to me.
All is whole, not one word more of the consumed time. Be this sweet Helen's knell, and now forget her. Do you recall the daughter of this lord?
Admiringly, my liege.
Well excused. Send forth your amorous token for fair model, and the main consents are made, and here we'll stay to see our widower's second marriage day.
Come on, my son, in whom my house's name must be digested, give the favor from you to sparkle in the spirits of my daughter, that she may quickly come. By my old beard, and every hair that's on Helen that's dead was a sweet creature. Such a ring as this I saw upon her finger.
Hers, it was not.
Now pray you, let me see it. Huh. For mine eye I was speaking of was fastened to it, the ring was mine. And when I gave it Helen, I bade her, if her fortunes ever stood necessitated to help, that by this token I should relieve her. Had you that craft to reave her of that which would stead her most?
My gracious sovereign, the ring was never hers.
And on my life, I have seen her wear it, and she reckoned it at her life's rate.
I'm sure I saw her wear it.
You are deceived, my lord. She never saw it. In Florence, was it from a casement thrown me, wrapped in paper which contained the name of her that threw it. Noble she was, and thought I stood engaged, but when I had subscribed to mine own fortune and informed her fully I could not answer in that course of honor as she had made the overture, she ceased in heavy satisfaction and would never receive the ring again.
Plutus himself hath not in nature's mystery more science than I have in this ring. 'Twas mine, 'twas Helen's, whoever gave it you. She called the saints to surety that she would never put it from her finger unless she gave it to yourself in bed, where you have never come, or sent it us upon her great disaster.
She never saw it.
Thou speaks falsely. As I love mine honor, and yet I know not. Thou didst hate her deadly, and she is dead, which nothing but to close her eyes myself could win me to believe more than to see this ring. Away with him. We'll sift this matter later.
If you shall prove this ring was ever hers, you shall as easy prove that I husbanded her in bed in Florence, where she never was.
I am wrapped in dismal thinkings.
Gracious sovereign, whether I have been to blame or no, I know not. Here is a petition from a Florentine. She's here, attending. Her business looks in her with an importing visage, and she told me in a sweet verbal brief it did concern your highness with herself.
Upon his many protestations to marry me when his wife was dead, I blush to say it, he won me. Now is the Count Roussillon a widower? His vows are forfeited to me, and mine honors paid to him. He stole from Florence, taking no leave, and I follow him to this country for justice. Grant it me, O king, otherwise a seducer flourishes, and a poor maid is undone. Diana Capulet.
I will buy me a son-in-law and a fair. I'll none of him.
Oh, the heavens have thought well on thee, Lafeu, to bring forth this discovery. Seek these suitors, go speedily, bring again the count. I'm afeard the life of Helen, lady, was foully snatched.
Now justice on the doers.
I wonder, sir, since wives are monsters to you, why you desire to marry. Oh, what woman's that?
I am, my lord, a wretched Florentine derived from the ancient Capulet. My suit, as I do understand you know, and therefore know how far I may be pitied.
I am her mother, sir, whose age and honor both suffer under this complaint we bring, and both shall cease without your remedy.
Come here, the Count. Do you know these women?
My lord, I neither can nor will deny, but that I know them. Do they charge me further?
Why do you look so strange upon your wife?
She's none of mine, my lord.
If you shall marry, you give away this hand, and that is mine. For I by vow am so embodied yours that she which marries you must marry me, either both or none.
Your reputation comes too short for my daughter. You're no husband for her.
My lord, this is a fond and desperate creature whom sometime I have laughed with. Let your highness lay a more noble thought upon mine honor than for to think I would sink it here.
Sir, for my thoughts, you have them ill to friend, to your deeds gain them. Fairer prove your honor than in my thought it lies.
Good, my lord. Ask him upon his oath if he does think he had not my virginity.
What sayest thou to her?
She's impudent, my lord, and was a common gamester to the camp.
He does me wrong, my lord. If I were so, he might have bought me at a common price. Do not believe him. Oh, behold this ring, whose high respect and rich validity did lack a parallel. Yet for all that, he gave it to a commoner of the camp, if I be one.
He blushes. It is hit. 6 preceding ancestors that gem, preferred by testament to the sequent issue. Hath it been owned and worn? Oh, this is his wife. It rings 1,000 proofs.
Methought you said you saw one here in court could witness it.
Oh, I did, my lord, but am loath to produce so bad an instrument. His name's Parolles.
I saw the man today, if man he be.
Find him, bring him hither.
What of him? He is quoted for a most perfidious slave, whose nature sickens, but to speak a truth. Am I, or that, or this, for what he'll utter, that will speak anything?
She hath that ring of yours.
I think she has. Certain it is I liked her and boarded her in the wanton way of youth. She knew my distance and did angle for me, maddening my eagerness. and in fine, her infinite cunning with her modern grace subdued me to her rate. She got the ring, and I had that which any inferior might at market price have bought.
Oh, I must be patient. You that have turned off a first so noble wife may justly die at me. I pray you yet, since you lack virtue, I will lose a husband. Send for your ring, I will return it home, and give me mine again.
I have it not.
What ring was yours, I pray you?
Sir, much like that same upon your finger.
Know you this ring? This ring was his of late.
And this was it I gave him, being a bed.
Ah, the story then goes false. You threw at him out of a casement.
I have spoke the truth.
My lord, I do confess the ring was hers.
Is this the man you speak of?
Aye, my lord.
Tell me, sirrah, but tell me true, I charge you, not fearing the displeasure of your master, by him and by this woman here, what know you?
So please your majesty, my master hath been an honorable gentleman. Tricks he hath had in him, which gentlemen have.
Come, to the purpose. Did he love this woman?
He loved her, sir, and loved her not.
As thou art a knave and no knave, what an equivocal companion is this?
Do you know he promised me marriage?
Faith, I know more than I'll speak.
But wilt thou not speak all thou knowest?
Yes, so please your majesty. I did go between them, as I said, but more than that, he loved her, for indeed he was mad for her. I knew of their going to bed and of other motions as promising her marriage and things which would derive me ill will to speak of. Therefore, I will not speak what I know.
Thou hast spoken all already, unless thou canst say they are married. This ring, you say, was yours?
Aye, my good lord.
Where did you buy it, or who gave it you?
It was not given me, nor I did not buy it.
Who lent it you?
It was not lent me neither.
Where did you find it then?
Oh, I found it not.
If it were yours by none of all these ways, how could you give it to him?
I never gave it him.
This woman's an easy glove, my lord. She goes off and on at pleasure.
This ring was mine. I gave it his first wife.
It might be yours or hers, for all I know.
Take her away. I do not like her now. To prison with her and away with him. Lest thou tellst me where thou hadst this ring, thou diest within the hour.
I'll never tell you.
Oh, I think thee now some common customer.
Oh, by Jove, if ever I knew man, 'twas you.
Wherefore hast thou accused him all this while?
Because he is guilty, and he is not guilty. He knows I am no maid, and he'll swear to it. I'll swear I am a maid, and he knows not. Great king, I am no strumpet by my life. I am either maid or else this old man's wife.
She does abuse our ears. To prison with her!
Good mother, fetch my veil. Stay, royal sir. The jeweler that owns the ring is sent for, and he shall surety me. But for this lord, who hath abused me, as he knows himself, though yet he never harmed me, here I quit him. He knows himself my bed he hath defiled, and at that time he got his wife with child. Dead though she be, she feels her young one kick. So there's my riddle. One that's dead is quick. And now, behold the meaning.
Is there no exorcist beguiles the true office of mine eyes? Is
No.
real that I see?
My good lord, 'tis but the shadow of a wife you see. The name and not the thing.
Both. Pardon.
My good lord, when I was like this maid, I found you wondrous kind. Look, there's your ring. And look, here's your letter. This it says, when from my finger you can get this ring and are by me with child. Well, that's done. Will you be mine now you are doubly one?
If she, my liege, can make me know this clearly, I'll love her dearly. Ever, ever dearly.
If it appear not plain and prove untrue, deadly divorce step between me and you. Oh, my dear mother, do I see you living?
And I smell onions, I shall weep anon. Good Tom Drum, lend me a handkerchief.
Let us from point to point this story know, to make the even truth in pleasure flow. If thou, best yet, a fresh uncropped flower, choose thou thy husband, and I'll pay the dower. For I can guess that by thy honest aid thou kept'st a wife herself, and thyself a maid. And yet seems well, and if it ends so meet, the bitter past, more welcome is the sweet.
Well done, y'all.
Hey!
Dan, how many of those delicious craft brews that everyone should be buying did you have over the course of that performance? I think that's the most important question for us to ask today.
I think I'm at 7.5 so far. So if we move this Q&A along, that'd be great.
Great, excellent.
That right there is dedication to the craft. Well done, sir.
Dedication to the craft,
To the
indeed.
craft beer, more likely. But
That's right, exactly. Well, since you all know I can't remember the questions, and Dan certainly can't remember the questions right now,
I've got the questions.
The question is to ask the audience. So I can open up to y'all this time. No? Okay.
Did you learn about the play?
Learn about the play that you didn't know before. Yeah!
Don't try to judge what I can do in 7.5 beers.
If I've clearly not learned the important lessons I should have learned. I apologize really deeply. What did you learn about the play that you didn't know before? First to the actors and then to the YouTube chat.
Shakespeare really loves his bed tricks. Really loves his bed tricks.
Also, when you think about the fact that he was 18 and then Hathaway was 26, I'm wondering if there might be a little bit of life experience going into these bed tricks.
There's so much reused in this play that it's like it's him trying to do things over again. There's like a ton of much ado in here. Diana's last name is freaking Capulet. The bed trick. It just like it's when we do these plays back to back, I start seeing all of these things crop up again and again and again in a way that it's almost weird when, like, I think Harry pointed it out. There's been 2 bed tricks in a week.
after I finished the letter and I Diana Capulet, I just wanted to look at Dylan and go, how do I know that last name? But I didn't. I was very disciplined.
Jimmy, proud of you.
It did happen. All right, write it down in your calendar.
Anybody else from the inside got something?
There's something to the just the it really is. It's fun and funny when you're on the inside of the joke, but if you're outside the joke, it's really it's really toxic. And I think it goes both ways, but there's something about I didn't really quite catch it until doing it and being like, yep, go there, be that guy. And then doing this tonight, I was like, yep, this sucks.
Right. Well, I mean, that whole
But I will play it.
Underplay as well, right? Like what they're doing to him is incredibly mentally manipulative and horrible. Like,
Yeah.
they're putting him through physical torture. No matter how bad he is, I'm not sure that you can justify that being okay for a fun game. Yeah. Anybody else on the inside? Well, Kevin Condardo says this isn't really an answer to that question, but Jimmy Sears resisting an ad lib opportunity is the wildest development of 2020 by far, which I think is a more important thing to notice than anything we could notice about this play. Joe Quinn says the similarity between Parolles and Giacomo stuck out. I wonder why that might be. Christine Rockwood says, I love the maternal aspects of the Countess, the family that we choose. And Christine Penny says, Frat Life 101. Yep. And Ben Cordes says the torture is also a repeat of Malvolio's treatment. Yet another restocking. Moving on to the next question. What image, phrase, or word, is it word? Is that the third part?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Image, phrase, or word from the play stuck out to you today?
I am supposed, you must suppose I'm supposed dead or whatever. Helena's line to the widow and Diana, I'd never really heard it before. Usually it's like she at the end, she's explaining what they're gonna do. And she took a moment and she went, you must know that I'm supposed dead. And I was like, yeah, that is weird that you would kind of mention that. So that stuck out to me. I thought it was really neat.
Quickie Wick. I'm adding it to my vernacular now. Always.
How is that not already in your vernacular, Tash?
Because I had never heard it before. Quickie Wick. I just was like, oh!
It's like Smurf. It's just a catch-all noun. Anything can be a Quickie Wick. You know, it's great.
Can it though? Can it?
Can it really?
Anybody else?
Sweetheart jumped out to me for a relatively, like, again, speaking from a place of, I just read this part, so ego and narcissism, but here we are. But like, to call your boy like, hey, sweetheart, like, I do that. And like, well, it just caught me as like, oh, that's for someone who speaks abrasively around others to then speak in a sort of like warm vernacular with that tight group. It jumped out.
Does anyone know, is this, because I don't remember encountering sweetheart in other Shakespeare plays. Is that, because it's a bunch in here.
I don't recall ever hearing it in another play, no.
Because it, like, obviously it has certain connotations to it today, but it feels like it makes that relationship seem somewhat like increase in dimensions in some interesting ways. And I wonder how much of that is my personal associations with that word, and how much of that is the intention of the either creation of that word or the early utilization with maybe other implications. Anybody else on the inside? Right on, sweetheart. The first reaction is Chrissy Penny. OMG, sweetheart, all caps, 4 exclamation marks. And then we also have Chelsea Kaufman, who says, I heard sweetheart in the more pejorative Southern US sense. God bless your heart, sweetheart. We also have here from the YouTubes, Kevin Condardo, Bertram's dearly at the end means both love, my dear, and his penalty for getting caught. You'll pay dearly for this, which is a really interesting resonance. This is kind of more thematic, but I think also really interesting and stuck out to me. I thought it was interesting that Bertram was involved in not one, but 2 arranged marriages. Usually the girl is the one stuck in that situation, which is a very interesting observation. Accurate. And we also have Shakespeare writes of several heroines avoiding unwelcome marriages. Why does he choose to make a man doing the same so unpalpable? Interesting.
Palatable. Palpatine is something different, Monty.
Unpalpatinable.
That works, actually.
I may have misheard it. Yeah.
And we're going to get to our last question now. So if you have questions,
Yeah.
throw them into our YouTube chat and we will answer them for you. The last question, why does this play matter today? Actors first and then to the YouTube.
I mean, I wish this play would get done more in place of the constant revivals of Taming of the Shrew and Measure for Measure. Like as far as problem plays go, this one, and maybe it's just because we just spent some time with it, but it has a lot more nuance potentially to it than certainly either of those plays.
I really want to echo what Chrissy Penny said about the relationship between Helena and the Countess, about the family you choose. What I think is really lovely about the people that Helena encounters is, like, despite her quote unquote low station, anywhere she goes, it's instantly recognizable that this is a kind and loving person and people want to help her. And so I think that the generosity that is shown towards Helena throughout the whole play has really resonated with me this time around. And I didn't catch it in the read through, but that idea about the family you choose really popped out a lot. And I think that's important right now.
There's also a line that we actually cut out, but as I was going through and figuring out what this play was, Helena has a line that says, "Our remedies oft in ourselves do lie, which we ascribe to heaven." So, like, we can usually take charge of our own fates, and the idea of empowerment, I think, is always useful.
I also think that the relationship between the women in supporting and helping each other and lifting each other up, it's one of the few plays where the other female characters aren't trying to sabotage one of the other female characters. And it feels like a really healthy representation of how we can work together to solve a problem that we might not probably should solve.
I think coming at it culturally, the arranged marriage aspect is still a thing that really happens. So, you know, yeah, it's a very real sort of thing that people are roped into because of family. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know how often bed tricks actually function in real life, but certainly unplanned pregnancies have created a lot of marriages that might otherwise have not happened. And so there's certainly a question of implication and stuff there. From the YouTube chat, we have our first question is from Joe Quinn. Perhaps be careful what you wish for. Helena gets Bertram. Is he worth the having? Any answers to that question?
No.
Pass.
Yeah.
I know this is super unpopular. I think yes. And I think I'm actually on Bertram's side until about halfway through the play. Because why someone threatening you with death to marry someone you don't want to marry? I don't think that's cool. And I think I would probably fight in some nasty ways to not sign my life away that way too. So I don't know if that means he's worth the having, but I think that there might be something in that. There's something that tells me about that character who's willing to try to stand up to the king, that I can see why there could be something there for Helena and Bertram in the past and what she sees in him. And I think that actually one of the things I really liked about what y'all did tonight was I could see why there was a spark there, and also why they just didn't want the same things out of the world to me. And then it comes and becomes much more grotesque, but that's the rest of the play. Then we have, why are the Helenas so unloved? This and Dream. This is from Christine Penny. And that is really interesting, right? Anybody have a thought on that?
Yeah, I bet you Shakespeare went to like middle school with some girl named Helena.
Yeah.
And she was just never, ever getting the crush.
And
so he's
really
like,
tall.
Yep.
Really tall,
Yep.
looking down on him. Yeah.
Yep. She was like a
The
foot taller
really
than all the
tall
dudes.
8th grader.
Yep.
Shakespeare was our short king. Come on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he got older and he wrote a play and he was like, bam, that girl.
Yeah.
Then we get to, from Kristen's Soul, I wonder what Bertram's preference would have been without the influence of the king arranging marriages. Thoughts on that one?
I mean, Monty, going back to the thing you were saying, yesterday in rehearsal, we were talking about this and this idea that Bertram in some ways is as dumb as just about any of us were in college. And so he doesn't even necessarily know what his preference is other than to like just live life. And I think there's some measure of like, yeah, I don't know, maybe we could get together at some point, but like, not right now, not suddenly having a thrust of like that. To me feels like he doesn't have any preferences other than, I don't know, I'm 18. Let's party.
Yeah. There's something too in that, to like that little Momo where the Dumains are like, oh, you're young, you can't go to war yet. It feels very, in terms of the college vernacular, it feels very much like a bunch of seniors who find this freshman who are like, you're going to be cool, but like, we're going to put you through it. And at what cost? Because he doesn't take it out on them, but certainly other people pay for that. Like, we're going to grow you up real good, real quick. But at what cost?
Anybody else?
That makes me want to backpedal and answer the question of why is this important today? Because my initial answer was, it's not. I don't really like this play. But the answers that all of you are talking about right now is why I think this is important today, because textually, I don't see any of that. But when we bring ourselves to this play and we bring our experiences to it, we fill in all that it is lacking. And that makes like a really beautiful piece of art and a really beautiful like personal piece. Whereas in the text, I was like, meh. The title itself is like, it's fine. Like, come on. But when artists come together and bring these ideas together, it reminds you of how it's special.
That's beautiful, man. Anybody else? I don't want to put you on the spot, Laura, but I'd be really interested to hear what you would answer that question with, having spent some time living with Helena.
Sorry, which question?
The question, I wonder what Bertram's preference would have been without the influence of the king arranging marriages.
I don't know. To me, it seems like Bertram always expected that he would marry like big and exciting, you know, like somebody who's really rich and there's sort of no textual evidence at the beginning that he is attracted to Helena. Like, I just think he's never considered it. And maybe they could be okay for each other, but you know, because she's plucky and like she takes things in, you know, into her own hands, and maybe that could impress him. But I'm not convinced by the end of the play that they are right for each other. But maybe they'll try. Maybe they'll try it out. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all for wonderful performances. We're going to head over to the company pub. If you're on Patreon at the well or the top shelf level, you already have that link. It's in your email and on Patreon. If you don't, email us. If you're not on Patreon yet, get on there, patreon.com/Shakespeare Happy Hours. If you sign up right now. Oh my God, Drew's already there and he's doing a beautiful dance for you. Get out of here, Drew. I can't deal with this. I'm gonna have a seizure. This is too much for me. Yes, patreon.com/Shakespeare Happy Hours. See you there. If not, we will see you back here on Monday for a little play called Othello. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Much love, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.